2014年7月13日，2012榮耀盼望第231篇主日信息中，日華牧師分享到2014年1月份 Webbox 嘅第60點同第61點，當中都出現金銀短缺嘅字眼。
咁第60點咪講3月13號之後咧，金銀短缺嘅字眼啦，數字科技革命嘅字眼啦，震驚啦，同埋自殺危機啦，操控金價嘅罪行啦，呢啲嘅字眼咧都係常常出現嘅。事實上，大家都知道而家世界上除咗調查緊拉布呢個罪行，而家搞到不了了之咧，另外就係操控金價啊嘛。而家我哋講緊死嘅銀行家好多根本就係調查緊操控金價嘅嗰班嘅當事人嚟嘅，其實所以變咗咧呢個其實而家講又係好準啦，就話呢啲嘅字眼會喺3月10幾號之後咧會出現好多嘅操控金價呢啲嘅罪行咁樣。第61點咧，佢話與金銀短缺呢個字眼震驚同埋陰謀呢啲字眼同時出現嘅咧，因而生嘅字眼就係訴訟啦，導致人自殺啦、破產啦、公司瓦解啦，呢啲嘅字眼一樣會出現嘅。
今年5月13日，中國大陸網站金銀界報導，據世界白銀協會與湯森路透 GFMS 發布嘅世界白銀調查2015報告顯示，全球白銀出產喺2014年增長5% 至8.775億盎司，刷新歷史高位，且為連續第12年取得增長。不過預料2015年全球白銀出產將下滑。GFMS 分析師 Andrew Leland 稱，新嘅白銀礦廠冇睇見新投資，恐難以令白銀出產持續刷新紀錄高位。另外喺2015年8月18日，著名白銀投資顧問網站 Silver Doctor 主持人之一 Doc 接受另一個貴金屬投資網站 Shadow of Truth 嘅負責人訪問時，佢哋討論到原來全球實貨黃金同白銀已經出現嚴重短缺。例如加拿大鑄幣局對於實貨銀幣嘅訂單已經要拖延好長時間先至能夠交貨。另一方面，即使係全球最大嘅工業用白銀供應商，都需要8至12個星期嘅延期，先至能夠提交俗稱垃圾銀袋，含銀量約90% 嘅唔純銀。事實上，已經冇供應商願意以目前嘅白銀價格出售佢哋手上嘅存貨，所以即使有存貨，亦唔會供應。從歷史角度睇嚟，當白銀將要爆發性暴升之前，都會先出現以上情況。而現今嘅白銀價格，只係銀行家藉住紙銀交易嚟沽空銀價，令白銀價格長期陷於低位，甚至低於開採同提煉嘅成本價。另外，美國鑄幣局嘅白銀產品由8月份開始出產量已經係按星期下降20%，而加拿大嘅鑄幣局喺8月第2個星期已經唔接任何白銀產品嘅訂單啦，楓葉銀幣亦已經無了期停產。
What's happening with the shortages? And I wanted to be specific about this because a couple of weeks ago you had made mention of one of the large wholesalers having a bunch of empty warehouses. And
yeah, I mean, a lot of the authorized dealers and wholesalers have pretty much been cleaned out of everything that was stacked up in their warehouses. And I think we talked about it over the weekend that about a month ago with that first big takedown in silver, all of the fastest movers in the U.S. market were cleaned out right away, really within an hour or two. And I'm talking about like Silver Eagles, 90%, Silver Maples, common 100-ounce bars like Royal Canadian Mint, Johnson Matthey, and that type of thing. But there are still the other world's mint coins were still pretty readily available, such as like the Royal Mint over in the UK, the Australian Mint coins, some of the Perth products, like the Philharmonics and the Austrian Mint, the Armenian Mint, they make like the Noah's Ark coins, Libertad, things like that from the Banco de Mexico. And really we've seen over the last week all of those products have finally disappeared from the market and are not available anymore. Basically just once investors, both with the premiums and or availability that they just can't get Eagles, Maples, they start turning to alternative products. And so now we're seeing that those are now pretty much sold out across the market.
Now, are you not able to get these at this point?
Yeah, I mean, we can't get any further Mexican Libertads, can't get any further Noah's Ark coins from the Armenian Mint. The supply is almost gone on the Britannias. So yeah, pretty much across the spectrum, they're selling out at the wholesale level. On the other foreign mint coins.
My God.
What are the people that you talk to, authorized purchasers, etc., industry wholesalers? What are they saying about, or are they saying anything about the future supply? And I ask this in the context of Bill Murphy at GATA was told about a month ago or 6 weeks ago by a London silver trader that there were rampant rumors going around the LBMA that there was going to be massive shortages in September and October, and that refiners would have trouble getting any kind of raw silver or pre-refined silver that they could turn into blanks. Are you hearing anything like that?
I mean, we haven't specifically talked about that with our wholesalers and distributors. I mean, I really haven't asked them point blank that question. I mean, anecdotally, though, it sure wouldn't surprise me if that were to be the case. I mentioned in our update over the weekend that probably one of the two most popular and most common 100-ounce silver bars on a private mint level, they're sold through one single authorized distributor here in the U.S., and without naming their names, I think it was Tuesday, they were contractually expecting the delivery of 1,000 100-ounce silver bars, or 1 million ounces. They delivered 30,000 bars, or 300,000 ounces, so about a third, a little bit less than a third of what they had been contractually obligated to deliver. And so that's not a blank issue. I mean, those are 100-ounce bars.
Right.
That's a significant difference. About when you fail to deliver 2/3 of contract, that's a default, or it would be in just about any other industry.
Right.
There's probably a force majeure clause in his contracts, just like there is in the COMEX contracts.
Probably.
But what's interesting about that, Doc, and correct me if I'm a little bit off track here, if he's having trouble getting refined bars from refiners, that means refiners are having trouble getting enough of pre-refined supply from miners, silver miners themselves.
Right, exactly. And I think it's worth noting that a lot of investors in the community don't quite understand. They look at the COMEX levels purely as a gauge of whether there's a shortage or not, and really not understanding that the wholesale, like the refinery, the minting market in the U.S., I mean, COMEX is irrelevant to them. I mean, the only way COMEX would be drained is if they can't source supply anywhere else. I mean, when you're talking about like Elemental Capital and Republic, the two largest refineries, mints in the U.S., it's nearly all scrap recycling. That's the type of silver that they're using to mint products. They're not, for the most part, they're not taking 1,000-ounce bars off of the COMEX. It's just too expensive, too cumbersome, and not as big a profit margin. And they're buying metal back, recycling, and that's part of their spread. So yeah, if you're following what I'm saying, you're not really going to see massive declines on the COMEX until they can't get enough scrap supply. They can't get anything from the primary and secondary mines coming out of the ground. That's the point that the COMEX is drained, not really before then.
That's actually a point I'd like to address really quickly here. I know we want to keep this short, but the problem with the COMEX is that people look at the numbers that come from the CME and they think those are the numbers. And the fact of the matter is that every single report that you see about what's happening on the COMEX originates with the banks who are the vault custodians and the market clearing banks. You're talking about JP Morgan, HSBC, Scotia, and a couple others, but those three are the primary bank vault operators. And so I have always questioned the degree of validity of those reports because, and we've seen in every other aspect of their business lines, they've been actually convicted and fined for fraudulent business activity. If they're reporting their COMEX data accurately and honestly, it would be the only business line in any of these banks that is being accurately and honestly reported. So if people look at those COMEX numbers and think those are the numbers, they're being extremely naive or uninformed, i.e. ignorant. Because I can guarantee you, I would bet my last nickel that those numbers are not bona fide, and that I would bet that the inventory levels that they're reporting, especially in silver, the real levels, the unencumbered, unleased, unhypothecated inventory on the COMEX is a lot lower than the numbers that they're showing.
I'd certainly agree with that, and I'd just add that regardless, even if they were real, which I agree with you that they're likely not, they're really irrelevant in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a big paper shuffle. I mean, as far as the metal that they supposedly have in the vaults, I mean, does it ever go anywhere? Do people actually take delivery? Are people actually taking delivery? I mean, if they are, it's very, very little. I mean, in particular, when you look at the sheer volume of trading that happens versus the volume of deliveries that happen, they're not in the same planet. They're not in the same. They're irrelevant. Or am I just way off base with that?
No, in fact, we used to take delivery of gold and silver bars off the COMEX occasionally in our fund, and we did it. Last time we did it was in 2010 because the premiums on Silver Eagles had spiked up back then, and it was cheaper. We normally prefer to keep fungible silver and gold in our depository. But it was cheaper to source silver at the spot price, on the manipulated spot price on the COMEX, so we decided to take delivery of some silver bars. It took us 7 weeks to get the bars after the last delivery date. The last delivery date is the end of the month, and then the contract specifies a 3-day grace period in which your counterparty has to make arrangements either for you to send them a truck, like a Brinks truck, or for them to deliver it to your vault or to your depository. It took 7 weeks, and our counterparty was HSBC. And if our fund had been bigger,
that's why you don't see the mints really utilizing the COMEX. I mean, that doesn't. When you have wholesalers and suppliers needing coins and bars now, you can't have delivery in 7 to 10 weeks and not knowing when you need it now.
Right, exactly. And that was the last time that we decided to take delivery from the COMEX. It just can't be trusted. And I would have gone after them just to bust their chops legally for breach of contract. But if our fund was a lot bigger, I would have spent the money, but it wouldn't have been worth the time and effort. But I was shocked because it took 7 weeks for that delivery process to happen.
It's what happens when you're dealing with paper instead of physical.
It's what happens when you're dealing with criminals on the other side.
Well, that too. Well, Doc, what's going on with your customer base without giving any details as far as, I mean, are you seeing any large orders coming in, or is there anybody at all? Is there anybody selling anything back to you? I mean, I doubt they are, but I mean, there's a possibility.
We actually have had a few customers this week selling some coins to us on the heels of the gold and silver popping a little bit, and that's really the first we've seen anything in probably 6 weeks. Before this week, I can't even remember the last time we had a single purchase back from a customer, which is quite astonishing. So we have had that come back this week. We've had continued large purchasers, still a lot of new customers to the market. But we're not really quite at the level of buying frenzy that we saw early to mid-July.
But are you seeing a kind of a spike at all, or what kind of movement are you seeing with new customers? I mean, because I published an article from, I believe it was Money Metals Exchange about a week or so ago, and they had some kind of massive 350+% movement to the upside of new customers, new orders during the second half of July and the first week of August. I mean, are you seeing anything like that as far as new customers are concerned?
Yeah, I haven't specifically analyzed the numbers recently, but I know in July we did have quite a big, massive spike of new customers as well. Unfortunately, I don't have specific numbers to give you. I haven't looked at it and calculated it, but yeah, we certainly also saw the same thing of a lot of brand new investors in precious metals entering the market really over the past 6 weeks.
Well, that bodes well for all of us, doesn't it? I mean, wouldn't you say that there's more? That means that more people are tuning in and waking up.
It certainly does, and I mean, a lot of them are large net worth investors, which is, at least to me, another anecdotal sign that we're closer to the bottom. If we haven't bottomed already, then obviously to any top or anything like that, that the smart money is now entering physical metals.
Now, as you know, I not only have the Daily Coin, but I also assist Sean with SGT Report. And as such, I visit probably 75 to 100 news websites a day, and I'm not exaggerating. And in that, I look at comments. I go to the comments section, and what I'm seeing is that, and these are all over the place as far as people are questioning all of this conversation that we're having right now, and because they're able to go to eBay and get whatever they want. They're able to go to this online dealer or their local coin dealer, what do you say to that?
It really is just a matter of perspective. I mean, we've seen the same thing on Silver Doctors. Our post over the weekend, we had all kinds of comments saying, "Oh, well, you're offering Silver Eagles right now for $2.99 any quantity, so obviously that there's no shortage." I mean, it's really just a matter of perspective. If you want 2 coins, yeah, you'll likely be able to get that from us, whether it's SD Bullion or any other major dealers or your local dealer currently. But I mean, to put things in perspective, I mean, when us or another dealer, we list a special on Silver Eagles right now. I mean, a few weeks back, with some insight, we placed what was for us is a decent size inventory order. And I mean, we might be down, I haven't looked at the numbers, but we might be down to 5,000 coins. It's like 10 monster boxes, which is nothing.
It's not very much.
I mean, when you look at the investment wealth in the U.S., what is a couple $100,000? I mean, it's not even a pinprick. It's nothing in the big scheme of things. I mean, so whether it's SD Bullion or APMX or any other major dealers, I mean, look at the 100-ounce bars, whether it's us or any established major dealer. I mean, typically, there's hundreds of 100-ounce bars available. I mean, for the average investor, pretty much as you can buy, and they're now all sold out. They're gone. You can't find them for the most part. So I mean, it's really just a matter of perspective. I mean, the U.S. Mint has been eking out a small amount of production the last couple of weeks. It's been going down about 20% per week. I think the first week they resumed sales, their total allocation from all the authorized dealers was, I think, 1.4 million coins. The next week it went down to 1 million. Last week it was down another 20%. I haven't heard the numbers yet this week, but it's been going down by 20+% a week. The Royal Canadian Mint didn't even take any orders last week, and they're not advising when they're going to take any further orders for maples. The U.S. Mint has been they haven't out and out said it, but they've been advising their authorized dealers that they may make the switch over to the 2016 Silver Eagles in September, which...
Well, that allows them to halt production and try to build inventory of blanks.
Exactly. I mean,
it's acknowledgement of a shortage.
Right, because they don't want to come out and say that they're just going to shut down production for 3 months, because, I mean, it doesn't take 3 months to change the obverse die in Silver Eagle from the 2015 number to 2016. I mean, any private mint can get that done in an hour.
另外，貴金屬投資網站 Silver Doctor 負責人之一 Doc 於2015年8月26日再發表一篇文章，指近日市場上買白銀產品嘅客戶多咗8至10倍，可見白銀市場已經無法停止人購買銀嘅地步。原來日華牧師早於今年8月13日，即2個多星期前，已經藉教會內部通訊 Apps Sync Calling 發通告俾所有家聚負責人 ，Webbot 有關人民幣貶值同股市出現大跌嘅預測已經準確應驗。故此，提醒家聚負責人鼓勵家聚成員可以購入更多實銀，預備將會喺9月開始嘅經濟大崩潰。至8月22日，即約1星期前，再發通告俾家聚負責人，未來數日將會係買入實貨白銀嘅最後機會，因為所有原材料都已經全面缺貨。然而，到咗此時此刻，某些香港最大嘅貴金屬商店，部分白銀產品經已沽清，白銀產品都所餘無幾，好多都只接受訂貨啦。所以，日華牧師提醒大家，而家只可以買入現貨白銀，絕對唔好訂貨，因為白銀零售商好大機會都無法再買入另一批白銀產品作售賣啦。